What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown overview of Lake Lanier out in Georgia. We've already talked about the south section and the mid section. Now, we didn't go over a lot of particulars on the offshore stuff, but we talked about all of the Google areas that we had, or as far, I shouldn't say Google areas, but more like satellite image areas that we were able to find. So tonight we're gonna go ahead and continue that overview. Let's go ahead and jump in here to Lanier. And just a friendly reminder, you can always go out to our website, simplisticfishing.com, and pick up these waypoints where you can take them and then put them onto your graph. You can also get the KML file. We'll send that to you. That's what you can use to view these in Google Earth. And we can also send you a GPX file that you can use for your mobile apps. You know, if you have some type of contour apps or something like that that you want to use it in. And then finally, we also have the new Simplistic Fishing mobile app that you can go out and get. So check it out. It's out on the App Store and the Google Store, or just go out to simplisticfishing.com and we'll hook you up from there. All right, let's talk about Lake Lanier really quick. We already talked about the fact that we covered the south section. So what we have is I've basically broken this down into 4 different sections. Hopefully I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the south section, we already did an overview on that. So if you missed that, just go out, look at the lake breakdown videos, and you'll see the south section overview out there for you. The last section that we did, I think it was last week, we talked about the mid section. Now that's going to be anything pretty much north of Highway 369 here, and then between the 2 bridges up here, how the highway comes like this, Highway 53, between those 2 bridges. So all the way up to this bridge and all the way up to this bridge. So we talked about that on the last video. And again, if you need to see that, just go out to the lake breakdown videos. So really that leaves 2 sections left. We've got the northwest section, so that's anything northwest of Highway 53. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And then we also have the northeast section, and that's anything northeast of Highway 53. So what we're going to do tonight, like I said, we're going to go in and really hone into this northwest section. And what I typically do when I'm breaking this down is I'll go out and I'll look for an area where it's pretty shallow. I'm looking for a shallower area where I'm more than likely gonna be able to find some creek channels, hopefully, if I lower the water down. So this looks like a pretty good little area. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna click up here to the history bar, but I already know 2017 is kind of the money date, at least with Google Earth right in here. 2017, 2019, this looks pretty good too. So let's stay with 2019, because if we can get a good image that's closer to, you know, the current time, that helps us out with laydowns and stuff like that. I mean, you know how it is, water moves stuff around, so over time some of these channels can change and stuff like that. So the more current we can get, but to where we can still see it, that's what we're going to roll with. So let's roll with 2019 here, and if it doesn't give us everything we want, we may have to pull it back to 2017. So now on the left hand side, this is how we have it broken down. I know this is going to look pretty confusing here, but I promise it's really, really simple. So I'm going to uncheck everything, and what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through and just kind of point out a few things here, and then we'll go through the cover and structure and all of that. But first off is with attractors. Now, there are a few attractors in this area. This is another tricky area when you're looking at these through Google Earth. Because the way that they were created outside of here and then imported in, it has to go to the date. So you're gonna see that when I double click this, my history bar up here is gonna fluctuate a little bit. So let me click this and you're gonna see it. There goes that history bar, it's going crazy. So apparently these attractors were actually created way back in 2006, but there are a few attractors in this area. So the map has shifted a little bit here, so let me kind of pull this back and show you guys where we are. Here's Highway 53. The first attractor is going to be up here right off this point, just right outside of the Boulding Mill Campground Fishing Pier. There's a nice fish attractor there, so you may want to check that out. Then we've also got another one that's just west of there at the War Hill Park, and that looks like it's going to be almost dead center in the middle of that creek channel, or not that creek channel, that cove. And then we've also got a couple more up here. It looks like actually quite a few up here, all around this this boat ramp up here, the Thompson Creek Park. You've got several that are over here. So you bank fishermen, this could be a good little area to go catch some fish. You've got some pretty good fish attractors all around that area. And then we also have a few more that are up here. If we move up here to the Toto Creek, is that what it said? Toto Creek, Taco Creek, that'd be pretty cool. We do have a couple fish attractors. There's basically out here in the middle of the channel here. It looks like there might be a creek maybe that comes through there or something, but they're really out there more out in the center. And I think that's all we had for this this northwest section. So I'm gonna go ahead and uncheck those, or I can leave them checked, I guess. They're probably gonna go away anyways. And then next thing we're gonna look at are bridges and culverts. Now for those, I'm gonna bring those back up, all the way back up to 2019 where we were, so we can get a little better image, because that image back in 2006 is definitely not as good. So let's go here. I think this is where this first road, and this road you can kind of see, if we're looking at this from a high level, there must have been a road that kind of came through here, because you can pretty much follow it through that area. And I have no idea, I'm not from this area, but this is just from what we were able to find on the mapping. So let's go ahead and zoom into this and let's see what these little roads are, because this looks pretty cool. So I'm going to go back down here, and now you can kind of see it. There's one right here. Now I don't know how far this goes. I can't see it. I can only see it to about that far with the imagery. But here you've got a really good road, and this one you can clearly see. It comes through here and it goes all the way across. So you know there's juice right in here. I mean, that's like a perfect spot for that road to go. And it looks like it comes through here. It's probably on this side too. I just lost it, so I couldn't really mark it for you guys, but I'm sure it probably runs right through here somewhere, all the way across this whole section. And then out over here, you can definitely see it here. Now this looks different now. In 2018, it looks like this. If I move this up to 2024, 2025, it looks completely different. So just be aware of that when you're out there, that we're looking at it when the water was way down low, so we can kind of see what's going on. Now what's interesting here would be to see if this little stuff is still there, these little points that come out, because this could be a super juicy place to fish. Just the fact you got the roadbed there, you can kind of follow it. You can even follow it all the way over here. You could swing out and come back in here if that roadbed was juicy, and see if you can find it more back in here. I mean, you can see the whole thing. So just an interesting thing, at least on this section, that really jumped out at me. You also have this roadbed that's up here. You can see it comes around here. This must have been like the old highway, and then it pretty much dives into the water here. So there could be good stuff all around in here, all out here by that dock for sure. And then I think we had a couple more right in here. We've got another one. You can kind of see where it probably ran through here. I lost it here. I can't see it, but I can definitely see it coming out maybe over to here. Now that I could be wrong there. That might not be what that is. And maybe this is just the old boat ramp or something like that. It's just deceiving the way you're looking on a map. But this definitely looks like a road that comes down, or at least it appeared that way. Through the imaging. Those road beds can be really, really good, guys. Wobbleheads, Carolina rigs, stuff like that. That's money for those types of things. All right, we've got the bridges and culverts covered. Now let's talk about channels and ditches, because these are interesting. So the units can only handle about 50 tracks, or some of the units can only handle 50 tracks. So I can't mark every single ditch that I see. So on a lot of the ditches, what you'll see is that I just point them out right here with the little icons, letting you know, hey, there's a ditch there. But now if there was a channel there, and the channel was deep enough to where it actually, eroded out and created a nice little channel that you could fish in, I marked all of those with tracks. So you're going to see all of those throughout this whole section as we go through there. Then next we have cover and structure. That's going to be all your laydowns, your debris. This is going to be all the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to kind of do an aerial review and kind of fly through this and show you guys what we found there. And then we also have a few, I think maybe one or two foundations. I think one just popped up. I thought I saw one pop up right in here. A couple foundations that we found, so wanted to point those out to you. Offshore, we're going to talk about in a minute. Ramps and slabs. If we found any ramps, obviously we marked those, but slabs as well. And a lot of people ask, why do you guys mark all the ramps and slabs? Well, one, in case of emergency, it's nice to know where the closest ramp or slab is so you can get your boat out of the water. But two, those slabs and the ramps too, depending on how busy the ramps are, but if they're not as busy, they can be really, really good places to fish. So don't mark off the ramps and slabs. I'm telling you, there's a pattern for that you can actually run. And then we've also got the rock. The rock is huge on this lake. Obviously, you got a lot of little scattered areas of rocks. That's gonna be good areas for fish to attract to. And I guess I'm gonna go back to the offshore stuff, because part of the offshore are hard spots. And we saw a lot of that as we went through the midsection and the south section. That's going to be those, mainly you're going to see those points and those ridges and things like that, where all of a sudden you see, it may not just be rock, but it's a hard bottom. And that hard bottom definitely attracts a lot of stuff. And so you want to focus on those areas that have the hard bottom. They'll be productive areas for you. I'm not going to say every one of them here that I marked where it was hard spots going to have a fish on it, but I'm telling you, if you fish enough of them, you're probably going to run into some fish, because those are key areas that fish will relate to, especially when you have these types of bottoms of the lakes. So I am going to mark that so you can see all that, because it's going to pop up. And I think that's it. Rock, yep, we're good to go. So let's start down here at the dam, and we're going to work our way up and to the right, and we're just going to talk about kind of the stuff we found. So here, you can't see it here, but if I move the image up again to the current date, that's where you're going to see the rock. So I went ahead and just updated it, because I could clearly tell it was under construction when we were pulling this from this date. Now you do have a couple laydowns in here, a couple rocky areas. I do like this little point right here. It's a little bit of a harder point. I put rock, but you could also say that's a hard point as well. And you can see these other rocky areas here. You've got some laydowns. This is a nice little rocky area, or a hard spot that's right here off the top. I will admit, there's sometimes I put rock, sometimes I put hard spot. I put rock if it's like, I can't tell the bottom contour, but I can tell there's rock there, then I put rock. But if I can really tell that the bottom contour is hard, then I put hard spot. So it's kind of a transition of both, and you'll notice when you're out there, if you see rock and you're like, man, this is actually a whole big hard spot. Well, it's because I just couldn't tell from the imagery exactly what it was, but I could definitely tell it's some sort of rock. So I'm just gonna keep flying through here, and we got more rock, more rock. Actually, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this up like this so we can see it better. And then we're just gonna kind of go through here. Now here's an example of a hard spot right in here. You can see that point comes out. You can tell it's kind of rugged looking. If I zoomed in, you'd really be able to tell. So if I pull back here and just get this image kind of the way I want it, you can definitely tell there's something going on there. Here's some more rock in here, some good laydowns, more rock. You got some more of those little scattered rock in here. Good rock all around the back of that marina. Some laydowns. Now the top of this point looks really, really good. You've got some good stuff here. You got a nice little hard spot here. You got some really good rock. I could see this being a productive point. Also over here, there's a hump just outside that marina that's got a really good hard spot on it that could probably be productive as well. And then as you move down here, you get some interesting stuff. You got just some rocks and laydowns. There's some debris over here. You can see that there are some stumps out here too. Now these stumps could be productive. If that's what they are, that's what they look like. We've also got some rock, more laydowns, lots of laydowns through here. Just some rock off the top of those points. As we get back in here to the, where are we at, Latham Creek, just some debris. Now, I want to show you guys some of this stuff, because sometimes you get into by these docks and you get some good stuff. There's just some small debris there, so that one's not a big one. You can see back here, just a couple different areas where we've marked the debris. We've got some ditches back here, some more laydowns. Lots of debris around these docks. You're gonna notice that when you see around the docks, kind of pay attention. Now, I don't really like the debris that's back behind the docks, but when you see me mark brush and debris out in front of the docks, that's usually some pretty juicy stuff to go take a look at. These hard spots, again, are gonna be key. These little rocky spots, you know, they're random, but they're telling you that's gonna make them even better. Like if it was the whole thing was rock, then it would be almost impossible to tell you exactly where they're gonna collect. We'd have to start looking at more things like transition lines and stuff like that. But here, where it's kind of muddy, sandy, you know, that clay kind of look to the dirt, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get a hard spot. Well, guess where the fish are gonna go? They're gonna go to that hard spot. So that's definitely makes this one a little bit easier to break down. So some good stuff back here. You got a little ditch, nice little point here. Good, long, extended point. That one looks good. It's got a ditch back there too. Nice little point here. It's got some rock and some laydowns on it. Got some more rock back in here. I don't think, when I was looking at this, that you can get back in here, so I didn't mark all this. If you could get back in there, if that's not private property, that looks like it'd be pretty fun to go back in there in a kayak or something like that. And I'm gonna go up here. This is where that road bed is we talked about, right? So you'll wanna pay attention to that road bed. I'm gonna zoom back out and kind of show you where we're at. We're right up here, just north of the highway. This is where that road bed was. So there's the road bed. You've got some more rock that's up in here. Just different little rocky areas, right? I really like this spot right here because it's a nice little transition off the edge of that point. And I'm thinking most people are probably gonna go out here and fish this area, you know, off the point, or they're gonna come, you know, fish off these other points. But right in here actually looks pretty good. You've got rock on both sides. You got a nice little tunnel that comes through here. And then you've got this nice transition into this really chunky rock, and then back into like this smooth stuff right here. So this is something I would pay attention to for sure. And just see if you can find anything right in there. There's that road bed again. Moving on down, we got some more laydowns. Some stuff I wanted you to check. Up in here, got a little foundation that's up here. If I zoom in, you'll see it. You can kind of see the foundation that's there. Got a ditch here. Here's that road bed, right? And that little area right in there, that could be money. So you definitely want to take a look at that. There's a couple creek channels back in there as well. And then we're gonna move over here. And this is where I was like, man, somebody spent some time putting some stuff down in here. Now here's the trick. I can't tell if this is debris or if somehow maybe people went down here and created like little campfires, and these are all just little campfires and I'm just seeing each one of them. But maybe they left that debris there and you can still fish it. I don't know. Someone go out to Lake Lanier and let me know, you know, launch here at the boat ramp up here and let me know what the heck this stuff is, because I'm very curious now that I've seen it. So I'm gonna show you it right here. You can see these little dots, right? There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. They look like mini little brush piles or something. Now those could be there because they put them there to attract fish. They could just be there because they're like people doing campfires on the beach. I can't tell. So it would be interesting to know, because if they are little fish attractors, that could be a, you know, that makes that cove a little more interesting because you give them some stuff to go get attracted to. So definitely go check that out. Let's keep moving on. We've got some more ramps that are up here. Big boat ramp here. That's that Bolding Mill boat ramp. Nice little saddle that's right there beside the boat ramp you might want to check out. You got some pretty good rocky areas out here off the edges of these points. Nice little hard spot. This one looks really good. This is what I mean by this is like a real good definition of a hard spot. There's no particular rock that I can see there, you know, that's like boulders or anything like that, but I can definitely tell that is a very hard surface. And so that's where we marked a lot of those different hard spots. Now you can see here, got some laydowns. This is more than likely an offshore spot. It's got a nice little hard spot that comes off of it right here as well. Got a couple more in there. You got pretty good little creek channel down there. Some more hard spots, right? This point right here, it looks good, especially when you get further out off the back of it, right in here. That's where it really starts to get a little bit rockier, a little bit harder looking. I guarantee that's probably more where the fish are gonna attract to too. As we come over here, just some more hard spots. There were some stumps out here or something. They look like stumps off this little hump. This hump's not really it doesn't look really hard on top, but it definitely has those stumps that those fish could relate to. You've got some more rock that's back in here. Rock and debris, laydowns, rock and debris. Pretty good channels that are back in here too. So I went ahead and marked those. Now this little point here's got quite a bit of activity. I'm gonna pull that back real quick and show you guys where I'm at. Right here. So right in this section. And this little point has a lot of junk going on, right? You got pretty much a hard spot there. You got a bunch of laydowns. You got brush piles that are over here right off that transition. You got more laydowns that are out here. So I could see this being a pretty good point. You know, fish this dock too, that dock with the hard spot out on it. That looks good. We get back in here, if laydowns are going good, you got lots of laydowns all in this little area with a few little hard spots scattered in. You can kind of see them. Good little point here. I'm gonna move this back up. I'll lock that in so we can keep looking at it. Some more laydowns back in there. Moving out. Now for me, you know, these points that are like this one, I really like that one. I really like this one too. Out here off the Cool Springs access. That point just looks juicy. These other little points, you know, maybe sometimes they'll collect in those areas, but you know, these big ones, these big main lake points for sure. Keep going down, more laydowns, more debris, more little rocky areas. Let's zoom this back a little bit. We're gonna go up in here. Got some decent little creek channels. Got a decent one there and a pretty big little flat back here with a nice creek channel too. So, you know, springtime, you may want to come back here, check out that when the water gets a little bit warmer, when they're getting ready to spawn and all that good stuff, because look how well protected that area is. Now let's keep moving on up, talk about what else we found. More rock out here off these points, rocks and laydowns. Look at this point. Guarantee you this point is a good point to fish. If you're not going to fish any other point in that little area, I'd fish right there. Now, if I had a little area to a boat ramp or something to point you to where that is, I would, but you guys will figure it out, especially you guys that have fished this lake a lot. You're going to know what point I'm talking about because it's pretty clear the river channel comes down here and swings right here against this point, and that makes that point a very high percentage area to fish. So definitely fish right around in there. Got some more hard spots, back in there. I keep moving up. Here's that creek channel swing again, right? We're coming down and then we're boom. As soon as we hit anywhere of those areas we hit, we get hard spots, we get rock, we get debris, and we also get a lot of fish too. So those are key areas to look at. Now we're going to keep moving on up. Just some more rock in here, more rocks and laydowns. Decent little channel that's back in here. There we go. There's some type of a reference. Woodman Youth Camp Lake. So it would be just south of that is where that point is. And then you got those other two there. You've also got some more rock up in here. Just more, this may be more of a bluffy type wall. It's kind of hard to tell when the satellite moves, but you can definitely see that there's some rock there. More rock and more laydowns all the way up in here. More laydowns. Got some slabs that are back there you can take a look at. And then if we get back in this arm, again, a really good little channel that's back here. Right? You got another channel, creek channel that's back here too. So really like these. Giant, flat, good place to go back in the spring for sure. Check those areas. Check, mic check. No, I'm just kidding. There's a check right there. Then we've got laydowns. Now, you guys know I love bridges, so I would definitely fish around these bridges, especially this one that's a little bit narrower. You've got some rocks here, definitely, you know, around the pillars that you could fish around the pillars, and then fish around the points, fish that rock around the points. Moving on up here, show you guys where I'm at. You can see here I just went over Highway 136. We get out here, there's some debris off of these points. That thing keeps shifting on me, I think probably because I keep moving my mouse a little bit. Get that back where we want it. We got some debris out here, and I can't tell, this could be stumps or something like that, but that looks like a pretty productive point. I would definitely take a look at that one. Then we're gonna move back. We get up in here, we got a lot of stuff going on here, but just a lot of laydowns and rock. This looks like this whole bank line could be pretty productive. It's got a lot of stuff on it. Then I'm gonna hang to the right and finish up this little cove up here. We're gonna go up here. We got some rock. There's some brush back here behind these docks. We want to check out some more stumps that are out here off that point. We got more laydowns, lots of debris, lots of laydowns. The laydowns are going on. You've got plenty of these little areas where all of a sudden you'll just find a whole bunch of laydowns. So if that's the pattern, you could definitely run it here. You got a nice little hard spots out here off this point. You can see right here, and then you've got some rock here too. So this could be a decent little area to fish too. Nice place for them to stage up before maybe they come back in here. This again would be a good little staging spot with this debris that's in here. And then you've got this giant area back in here, this giant flat area with some really good creek channels and stuff like that you could check out. And then some debris that's back here too, right? You got all this debris that you could flip around and stuff like that. So pretty cool looking stuff back in there. Let's keep moving up. Got more debris, laydowns, rock. If I see anything that really pops out to me, I'll show you guys. Kind of like this little point here where you got some hard spots or some rock there that you might want to check out. Some more laydowns in there. More laydowns. And then here, we're getting more back into the river now. But as you can see, the water's low here, so we've marked kind of the channel. Now, if I'm fishing this, if I'm up in this area, I'm gonna focus more on the places where that river channel gets really close to the bank line, or where it makes just a big hard turn, maybe out in the middle. But in this case, it's all getting ready to touch the bank line. So if I'm coming up here, I'm hitting this point, I'm hitting this point. I'm probably maybe fishing right in here, but I would fish this little intersection area that's right in here. Then I'm gonna move on up. I'm gonna fish these debris. I'm gonna fish this creek channel or this creek channel swing up here too and see what I can find. This is interesting back in here. It's almost like you got cleaner water back in here. So you might want to come in here if you can and check out up in here. If you're looking for spawning fish, you know, check out up in there. All right, let's keep moving down. We got more rock. Talked about that area, more laydowns there. Another good little creek channel swing area. You can see it's more like bluffy type looking walls. So take a look at those, especially when you're out more towards, winter time, when the fish are a little bit out deeper. You definitely want to go look at those areas. These docks here too, I didn't mark them, but they're more than likely going to be deeper docks, and they look like they might be closer towards that river channel. And if they are, they could be very productive docks, probably the most productive docks on the lake if that's the case. So look at these docks when you're up there, especially if you like fishing docks. I would start there on the point and just fish these, maybe fish 4 or 5 of them or every other one of them and see if you do any good. And then if you do, then go back and hit them all. All right, let's keep moving down. This hard spot right here is definitely going to be a productive area. It looks perfect. It's right where you want it to be. It's got the hard spot on. It's got all the good stuff. So we'll definitely look at that. Coming down here to the Toto Creek boat ramp. Just a couple ramps there, some laydowns. Again, you can tell the river channel is coming down here. Right here's more your bluffy walls, and it's coming down here and it's touching this point somewhere, getting really close to it. So this area right in here, take a look at that. All right, then we come up here. We just got more laydowns. Pretty good little creek channel that's back in here though. I like it. You can see here, now you're like, wow, why would I go up there and fish? It's so shallow. Well, the water's way down here, right? Let's move this up to 2025 and voila, everything changes and you're like, oh, that's perfect. I can be right in the middle of the creek channel, and people think, what are you doing out there? Well, I'm right in the middle of the creek channel, right where I need to be. All right, so that's why we do that. So let's draw that water back and let's keep going. All right, keep moving on down. Got a nice little point there. I'm sure we'll talk about that from an offshore standpoint. Got some rock that's back in here. We're gonna keep zooming down this side, laydowns, debris, some stuff I wanted you to check out here. Just outside this dock is a really dark area, more than likely a brush pile. There's some pretty good brush that's back in here behind these docks. There's some more debris that's back in here by these docks. More rock. Gotta make sure I don't get lost here because I gotta stay on the left side now that I moved over from the right side. So this is gonna get all confusing for me. We're gonna move around here. We got more debris, more rock, some ditches that are up there. There's a pond that's back in here. So this is pretty cool looking. This is what we were looking at earlier. The pond's way back here. Now, whether or not you can get to that pond, I don't know. But this whole area just looks good. This looks like it could have been maybe an old pond too. Now, I don't know how high the water gets back here either, but if we move this up to 2025, that looks doable. That looks like a place you could get back into, and that's really clear right there. It's just whether or not you can get back to it or not. So maybe something to check out. For sure, a springtime thing, especially if it's flooded like that. That looks really good. And then you come in here, and then here's your little pond dam too. They could collect around that area too. So lots of juiciness going on there. Some more laydowns, more hard spots. So just marking those hard spots for you. Rock. Some creek channels that are up in here. Now these look pretty interesting. You got 2 that are kind of coming here, and I was trying to save the track, so I just looped it back around, but obviously they don't connect to each other till they get a little bit further out here, but interesting little area back in there. Got another channel back in there, some more hard spots, more laydowns. You got here's that roadbed we talked about earlier that was outside of that Thompson Creek Park boat ramp. So something to look at there. Some more laydowns. Then you've got this creek channel that comes back here too. Right there, that bend's touching, and that creek channel is also getting really close to those docks. So I'm just saying, might be a good place to look. A couple more ditches that are back in here. We'll move out. Main Lake Point's got a hard spot. Got another area in here. Let's see why I said to check this. There had to have been something here. Oh, there's these little dots, and I can't tell what they are. Sometimes they can be like little fish attractors and stuff like that. So I just wanted you to check them. That means I don't really know. Got some pretty good rock going on here too. And then we didn't really see much through here. It's kind of dirt and stuff like that. But once we hit the hard spot, we marked it for you, right? So there's the hard spot. There's another one that's right here. And then we're gonna move down, slide down to the right. We got some rock that's out here too. Some ramps back in there. We'll move on over, we'll keep going. We got another hard spot here. That one looks pretty good too. I'm just wondering if I missed this island or not. Let's go around this island and just make sure I didn't miss something crazy here. That could be a potential hard spot there. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but maybe fishing off the tips of that. And right there too. Just not a lot going on. There might be a little rock right in there. Good little hard spot off the top of that. There's your juice. So I did miss a spot. So right there is your juicy spot. But what's funny is, like, if we were out there on the lake right now, that would take us forever to find that one spot, right? It would take us forever. We'd have to fish around this whole island and just hope that we hit it. There's the other spot too. It's gonna be right there. Our second good spot around that island. And we'll keep moving down. That's another good little area right there. Another good little hard spot if you look at it right there. So you guys can kind of see here, this is how I kind of go through and build it. And I also have to go to other mapping tools as well to see what else I could find. But this is kind of my main one, and that gets us around the island. So we got 3 good little hard spots around that island, at least that jumped out to me right away. And I'm gonna go back after this video and make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's keep going down. We've got some more brush here. I'm gonna pull this off. We're gonna zoom in here. Look at this nice little brush pile that's right there. So a little secret brush pile, some good hard spots out here. Nice little rock that's right there too. Then I'm gonna pull back so you guys can see where I'm at. I'm gonna put my marker right there. So we're working our way down. We're almost back down to the bottom, and we've been talking for a long time, but let's go ahead and finish this thing up. So we're gonna move on down. We got more debris, more stuff to check out here behind these docks. There's those stumps that I told you out there was outside of that island. We've also got some rock and some laydowns. Now look at this little stretch right here. Something's causing that rock to be there, probably because this creek channel or this river's coming down and swinging against there, and that's causing that little hard spot. So these areas right in here and right in here, you definitely want to look at. Some more rock. This is War Hill. Just some stuff to check out there. Got a nice little saddle back in here. Some more rock. Keep going. We got this little point I wanted you to check. Some more rock in here as well. Some more debris down in here. Laydowns, more rock. Now I like this spot right here. If we're talking like if we're getting outside of where that big, huge, point comes out, the back side of that, I guess you could call it an island, the back side of that island, getting down around in here, this kind of looks like the more juicy area. For that. Now you've also got a lot of debris up in here you could take a look at. Someone's put some stuff here. You can see all these little dots. Got a nice little saddle that's up there, some rocks, some humps. Trying to get through this, guys, because I know I've been talking forever, but some more laydowns, but I don't want to skip anything too crazy. Nice little channel that's back in here. Here's that roadbed we talked about earlier. Another good ditch, some more rocks. Look at this little hard spot back in here. Right there, you could start like right here and right here. Hit it with the crankbait a few times, see if they're active. Hopefully they are. You can just sit there and crank all day. If not, go up there with the shaky head or something like that and fish that little area right there. It's gonna be a productive area for sure. Just some more hard spots. And then back here, you just got these channels, right? So some really good channels, but look at that channel going right underneath those docks. When you see that, those docks are usually going to be pretty good as long as you got enough depth back there. Plus you got a really juicy looking flat that's back there too. So some real good stuff going on there. More laydowns and slabs there, a couple more laydowns, some debris behind this dock. Another good channel that's back here too. That one looks a little messed up because of the way I've got my image right here, but I promise it's a little straighter than what you saw. We've got some more rock in here, a couple different areas of rock. And then finally, we get back down here. We can see the bridge. We're getting close. Some more laydowns and some more rock. If I see anything that really stands out to me, I will point it out to you. Nice little hard spot here off this point, little secondary point. Laydown, rock as well. Juicy, right? Juicy points right there. That's going to be really good. This one, look at this one. This nice little point comes out here. It doesn't look that hard up here, but when you get out here, you can really start to tell you got a little hard spot here. And then something I may have missed there could be a little brush pile there. It's a little secret. If you watch till the end of the video, you may have found another brush pile. And then we're going to move down, and we've just got this rock that's kind of hidden back in here. Looks like maybe like a little ditch or something that's back in there, but someone's put a bunch of debris right in there, obviously to collect some fish or something like that. And then finally, we're back down to the bridge. So that covers us for the Lanier Northwest section. That covers us everything upwards, up and northwest of Lanier, Highway 53. Now don't forget to go out to our website, simplisticfishing.com. You can get all these waypoints on an SD card, or I'll send you the digital files, super easy. Or you can go out to our mobile app on Apple Play or Google and pick them up as well. One thing I do want to end on is we do have a lot of offshore spots in this area as well. So we didn't cover those today because usually we talk about the offshore stuff from a contour perspective. So I'll probably come back in a couple videos and really talk to you guys a little bit about what we found from an offshore hotspot on this lake. But I'm gonna go ahead and double click this, and what this is gonna do is this is gonna bring in, it's gonna change that date again like we talked about earlier, and it's gonna bring in all the offshore stuff. So these spots that you see where I marked offshore, those were done by going out and looking at a contour map. And basically what we're looking at is, we're looking at humps, ledges, points, things like that, all the typical things you would look at from a contour perspective of where fish would be attracted to, and then we mark them. So that way you're gonna have a complete set of everything you need when you go out there on the water. So anyways, guys, appreciate the time today. That covers us for Lanier Northwest. When you come back next time, we're gonna be looking at Lanier Northeast to wrap this thing up. And then we'll probably do a couple offshore videos and we'll call it a day. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.